The streak of good episodes continues with episode 6, and it demonstrates a lot of promise as we wind down towards the finale of season 3. Firstly, the death of Christian Cole caught me completely by surprise. I knew his death was inevitable, but I was thinking maybe the finale. Not 10 minutes into this episode, seeing him take an arrow to the chest. And he died the way he would have wanted to. He died a martyr, one man versus an entire army. So seeing that, immediately really grabbed your attention. And then we have the other 45 minutes of this episode to watch. And the rest of this episode really takes on a similar theme that we've been seeing in the previous ones, where it feels like it's Rhaenyra against the world. She has so many problems. She doesn't have pebbles in her shoes. She's fighting boulders. And I'd say one of the biggest problems has been Daeron Targaryen, a name we never even heard of before this season, where Rhaenyra finds out that Daeron, or I should really say Ormond, has been the one behind these underhanded tactics of having assassins kill her Kingsguard. And Rhaenyra finally seems to be adapting some more cruel methods, or at least some more strategic plays than she would have done previously, where namely, she's sending assassins disguised as Baratheon men who are pledging their loyalty to Daeron, but they're really there to kill him. And of course, this plot's discovered, luckily. But I think this is just the beginning of Rhaenyra's underhanded tactics. We'll see where it goes from there. And it's amazing that Daeron and Ormond are really the ones behind, I'd say, the most legitimate threat against Rhaenyra's hold on the kingdom. Because Aegon's out of the picture, Aemon's been recovering. And again, this conflict I feel like is just brewing, and it's going to reach a climax sooner or later. Then I already mentioned him, Aemon. He's, I'd say, recovered like 90% from his wounds. And I think now that he's, fought off some assassins, he's ready to go back. He's ready to show his face. I really think we're going to see that in the next episode. And it'll be great. I'm interested to see the dynamic play out between him and Lady Alice. I'm a little confused about, what he's hoping to get out of their relationship and what she's hoping to get. I understand Harrenhal, she's saying namely, but I'm sure there's more behind it. So it'll be interesting to see that. Then, minor characters just to talk about. I really, really do not like Rhaena Targaryen. I've had this opinion of her since season 3, episode 1. I'm sure maybe some people like her. I just don't. I find her annoying. I'm really hoping that she gets discovered as the rider of Sheepstealer and Rhaenyra handles with her quickly. She's not going to kill her because Rhaenyra just wouldn't do that. She won't even kill her enemy's son. But I really just want Rhaena Targaryen to be, discovered as the rider of Sheepstealer and for her like entire arc to be over. I don't want to see her anymore. I just don't like her. I don't know why. Maybe other people feel differently. I'd like to know in the comments. Um, we saw a piece of Aegon. It seems like he's going to be selling to Essos, so I can't imagine him having a big part for the rest of the season. Maybe he'll come back, season 4. So we'll see what happens there. And then back to the big arcs. I'd say the relationship between Rhaenyra and Alicent. I think there's always been this undertone of their friendship, or at least the memory of it. But I think it's completely disintegrated by now after Rhaenyra has discovered that Alicent was trying to escape. Rhaenyra has essentially been giving Alicent and her daughter the most comfortable lodging she could possibly give, given Alicent's situation as a traitor, as a rebel. But it's just not enough. So Rhaenyra finally uses Alicent as a political weapon, telling Alicent, "You're going to act as my spy to draw out your son, betray him, exchanging your freedom for his own life." And that's one of the big question marks that this episode leaves us with. What Alicent is she going to do? I think if they do meet face to face, Alicent might hesitate a little, but I think she's going to have no problem sacrificing Aemond for her freedom. If it means Helena's freedom, that seems to be the only soft spot in her heart that comes before her own self-interests. So we'll see what happens there. And then, the biggest thing that this episode ends on is back to this huge problem that Rhaenyra's been facing in the claimant of Daeron, where one of Daeron's men kidnaps Lord Corlys. And Lord Corlys is instrumental for Rhaenyra to maintain her hold on the kingdom. Since all the gold cloaks are either dead or they quit, Lord Corlys was going to be sending his men to protect King's Landing. But now their commander's gone. And Rhaenyra, of course, isn't going to let this go unanswered. So she's going to have to send men to fight Daeron. It's just a question of, is she finally going to take up Daemon's advice, bringing her dragon, demolishing the entire town, blowing it to smithereens, killing as many civilians as it takes, as long as it means Daeron is dead? Or is she still going to try to find out some peaceful method or some more humane way to go about this? I think that she's not going to go, full crazy, full mad king. She's still not going to listen to Daemon's advice when Daemon, again, the devil on the shoulder whispering in her ear, burn them all, burn them all. I think she's going to try something else, but we'll see what unfolds. Again, this is going to be the penultimate episode, so they have to save some battle for season 3, episode 8. So I'm sure they're going to pull back some punches, but I have no doubt the next episode is going to be even better with the questions it leaves in this episode. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe and keep the popcorn warm.